Hello, manifestors. So, what's happening when you keep on telling yourself the old story? And what is not happening when you keep on telling yourself the old story? This is what we are going to discuss today, and watch the video all the way to the end, because after this video, you will no longer want to tell yourself the old story. If you are new here, please subscribe, guys, like the video, comment, share, so more people like you can become master manifestors. So, first of all, what does it mean to tell yourself the old story? Well, it's living in the past, really, right? Every time you tell yourself the old story, you are going back to the past. Whether it's a 10-minute ago past, or a year past, or 20-year past. Every time you tell yourself the old story, you are going back to the past. When really, when we know the law, if you've read Neville Goddard, just even a little bit, if you've watched even a handful of my videos and other Conscious Manifestors videos, you should know by now that there is such a thing called revision. So if there is anything that is heavy in your past, and again, no matter how long ago that past is, you should revise it. But the last thing you should do is to rehearse it over and over. And you are rehearsing your past over and over every time you tell yourself and other people the old story. This is why in my Facebook group we have a rule. Every time you ask a question, you don't have to tell the whole story. It's bad for you, it's bad for other members who read your story. You can definitely ask a question without telling the old story again. Because as I always say, the law doesn't come free. You cannot say, well, I'm going to tell the old story here, but it doesn't count. Well, if you are telling the old story, it does count, right? It does exist. You're making more of it because you are telling it. And because the law is impartial and doesn't give you what you want, but gives you what you are, if you are that old story still, well, that's what you're gonna get. I know it's the opposite of what you want, but again, remember, the law doesn't give you what you want if it doesn't match who you are. You really need to understand this once for all. You really need to understand this once for all, guys, because if you don't have your desire right now, do you know why? There's only one true reason. It's because you are most probably dwelling in the opposite state more often than not. If you don't have your desire right now, it is because most probably you are dwelling more in the old story than in the desire fulfilled. So the first thing that is happening when you are telling yourself the old story is that you are making more of it. You are manifesting more of it in your physical experience. I don't care what it is, what old story you are telling yourself over and over, you are making more of it over and over. Every single day, you are experiencing more and more and more of that old story because you've been dwelling over and over a little bit every day or a lot every day, but you have been in one way or another dwelling in the old story. So this is the number one reason why you're still living the old story in your external world, right? In your physical world. Because you have been telling yourself that story over and over, and we manifest as easy as that, guys. Our inner conversations, what we think on a daily basis, it's our story. And if what you tell yourself Most of the day is the old story. What you think about is the old story. What you truly believe is the old story. Well, no wonder you are manifesting more of the old story. Because if not, then the law wouldn't work. Meaning, if by dwelling most of the time in the old story, you manifested your desire, think about it, then the law wouldn't work. But because the law works, because the law says you manifest who you are, not what you want, well, it is only normal, it makes only logical sense that what you manifest is not what you want, but who you are, meaning the old story. As long as you are the old story, well, you manifest the old story in your physical experience. So, what are you doing exactly when you keep on giving more credit to the old story than to your desire fulfilled? Well, you are saying to yourself, to your conscious mind, to your subconscious mind, to your God self, to everything, you are saying, I have more faith in the old story than I do in the new one. That's what you are doing. You are saying and showing that you have more faith in the old story than in your desire fulfilled. This is why it is super important, guys, that you work on your faith. Because among all my clients, the ones who make a quick shift are the ones who give faith in the law, who have faith in the law, who have faith in who they truly are, who have faith in their imagination. Those are the ones who shift very quickly. The ones who don't, and yes, there are some who don't, and any manifesting coach will tell you that some people shift quickly and some don't, even the ones that only talk to you about the success stories, there are also the other stories, right? It doesn't mean that they will never manifest their desire. It just means that they are still dwelling in the old story, basically. So I am being very frank with you. And the difference between those two is that the ones who shift very quickly, it's not that they have more skills or more anything. It's that they have more faith. They have more faith in the law and in themselves, in their God self, than the ones who don't seem to shift very easily. So when I said earlier, if you don't have your desire right now, it's because you are dwelling in the old story. I know you're probably thinking, well, doesn't it take some so-called time for my desire to appear? Yes, definitely. The 3D works slowly, and we have created that huge master illusion of linear time. So it does appear to take some time for your desire to be here. But what I mean is, before it even appears in the 3D, when you truly live in the end, when you truly have created that assumption that you know that your desire is yours, you will feel the same. You will already feel the same as if your desire was materialized in front of you. So when I say the only reason you don't have your desire now, I didn't mean just now in the 3D physically visible. I meant that when you know that your desire is yours, before you see it, before you see the shadow of it, you will feel the same. This is what Neville used to call a feeling of euphoria. I know for a fact that in my case, when I manifested what we call big manifestations, I had that feeling of euphoria before my stuff was showing up in the 3D so I could actually see it with my physical eyes. Now, what is that feeling of euphoria? It's a feeling of knowing, it's a feeling of excitement, it's a mixture of both. It's hard to explain, but it's what we call also the Sabbath. It's just a feeling. Usually you feel this somewhere in your heart and stomach area. It's just a knowing, a feeling of satisfaction. This is what it means when we say that you already have your desire. It's not just in the 3D. You know that you already have your desire inside first. So, now, with this in mind, if you don't feel that yet, it is most probably that you are still somewhere, somehow, telling yourself the old story. Because there is no in between, by the way. And I know this from experience. There's no in between. Either you already have your desire, and I'm not talking about in 3D. No. Either you don't. If you have your desire, you have it inside first. You don't have to worry about the reflection. The reflection will always be there. It's the world of shadow. It will reflect. But you must have it inside first. Because again, you don't manifest what you want. You manifest what you are. You manifest who you are. Unless you are who you want to be inside first, it cannot reflect. And if you are telling yourself the old story, well, that's what you are reflecting. So the best way to test yourself, if you are living in the end or not, ask yourself the question, do you right now inside know that you have your desire? Do you know it? Do you feel that euphoria, the satisfaction, that Sabbath feeling? If you don't, well, you are in the old story. I'm sorry to be so blunt about it, but it's about time that you get this, because we hear a lot of old stories over and over and over and over. We are tired of it. If you are not right now in the 100% or at least 99% assurance that you are who you want to be, that you have what you want to have, you are still mostly in the old story. So if you don't have 100% faith in being and having what you want to be and have, at least you need to stop right now telling yourself the old story. So work on your mental diet. Be on top of your mental diet, because by working and being on top of your mental diet, you are controlling your inner conversations, your thoughts, the place where you keep on telling the old story. And by at least no longer tell yourself the old story, you give space for the new one, for your desire instead. I hope this was helpful, guys. I intend that it was, and if it was, please subscribe, share, like the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.